John Wick Chapter 4. You saw the thumbnail, you read the title, so let me just cut to the end and say, yes, this movie is good. John Wick 4 is an absolute banger. Now, when I say banger, I mean it. It's not that it's perfect, it just gave me everything I wanted. I was in the theater laughing and giggling like a little kid at the action sequences. Now, before I get too far ahead of myself with the review, let me give a little backstory about me as a fan of the franchise. I've been rocking with John Wick since the first movie. I remember seeing the trailers and thinking, yeah, that movie is going to be good as hell. And boy, was I right. Little did we know that it was far from just another shoot 'em up type film. They created a lore around this world of assassins that went way beyond the typical meager attempt at world building that we usually get from Hollywood nowadays. The creators really put a lot of thought into it, and it was actually, genuinely, really fucking cool. There were hotels that served as neutral ground where business, as they put it, couldn't be conducted. There are rules in place to keep these killers in line, and there are consequences for breaking these rules. They have their own currency, their own hierarchies, and what I found most impressive was that the assassins, the higher-ups, and management of the facilities, they all had honor. In a modern world, they moved, dressed, and spoke with this old world elegance that is completely gone from society today. The first John Wick movie introduced us to this amazing underworld that was both intertwined and yet completely separate from our day-to-day lives. And it also introduced us to a retired, semi-old, yet utterly relentless killer that just kept defying the odds to get to his target. It was a hell of a ride, and we couldn't wait to get the sequel. The second and third movies were both amazing in their own right, and they both expanded on that world building and took John Wick the man through a whole host of ups and some crazy ass downs. And that brings us to Chapter 4. This time around, I followed a practice I put in place a couple of years ago. For a movie I really want to see, I only watch one trailer one time, no matter what. That includes the teaser. And how do I know if it's a teaser? Normally, it's in the title of the video itself, or the video is just shorter in length. But if I see the teaser, I don't watch the trailer. Also, I ignore all news about the production. Whatever happens on set, whatever's going on behind the scenes, I don't even want to hear about it. And then I disregard anything else that may be related to the movie. The reason is, I want to go into the movie nearly blind and enjoy it for what it is. And nowadays, let's just be honest, it's easy as hell to predict the plot of the whole movie from the trailer because most cases it's kind of beat for beat. So when I tell you I barely had any idea what was in store, I really mean it. And man, what a glorious surprise I was in for. The movie opened showing us John Wick getting back into fighting form, and from there, it was balls to the wall action. They wasted no time moving things along and setting up the main bad guy for the movie. I really like how each movie introduces us to new figures as we make our way up the chain of command towards the high table. In Chapter 3, we met the Adjudicator. In this movie, it's a harbinger. And let me tell you, the name fits. These people are about their business and only their business. They are entirely uninterested in what you have to say. And I have to admit, I love that about these movies. There's an absoluteness about this world that they're in. In the first movie, we saw the consequences for an assassin breaking the rules of the Continental. In Chapter 3, we saw John have to deal with the consequences of his actions of the second film. And now in Chapter 4, we get to see the consequences of a high-ranking official being punished in a way I had never even considered before. The high table doesn't play that shit. It doesn't tolerate failure. And these films have done an excellent job building up this dread anytime the high table is mentioned. It's a thing that can't be reasoned with. It doesn't care about your feelings or what you have to do to get the job done. It doesn't give a damn if you think you're out and you don't have to comply. It is an entity that says, fuck requests. Here are your orders. Do them or die. But know that if you don't, your family or whatever you hold dear will die first. And the bad guy in this film has the full resources of this entity. And let's just say he's willing to do whatever it takes to get to John Wick. As far as locations, this time around we travel to places like Osaka and Paris. And for these films, it's always nice to get away from New York and visit places that really make you feel like this is a true global organization. As far as the plot goes, let's face it, we aren't looking for Oscar-worthy performances. We just want John Wick to do John Wick type things and do them well. Give us a lot of people for him to kill and let him be a complete badass while doing it. The pacing is pretty good. It is a long movie, but I personally never felt like it was dragging. I don't believe in a movie having a specific runtime. The film should be long enough to tell the story it wants to tell. And at 2 hours and 49 minutes, John Wick Chapter 4 definitely tells its story. Now, for the part most of you have been waiting for, the action. When I tell you I was giddy in my seat, I'm being completely honest. I can't think of a movie that made me literally smile from ear to ear as I watched. There are plenty of great movies with amazing action sequences, but this movie? There's a scene in this movie, and trust me, you'll know it when you see it. It's so ingenious. It's beautifully shot, wonderfully choreographed, and is an absolute marvel to behold. And the best part about it, if I remember correctly, it was one super long shot, and it just kept giving and giving and giving. The sounds, the visuals, and the carnage that this man was wreaking was alone worth the price of admission. The last thing I'll talk about is something that I've also enjoyed in the previous films, but this time around, they really went a little bit deeper. And that's the camaraderie amongst the assassins. At the end of the day, these are just guys and girls that have a particular set of skills. There's a real human element to these films that I like. They aren't mindless killers. They have shit that they care about, people they love enough to kill for, and it's great to see how they're conflicted between the oath they've taken to the high table and the friendships they forged over their many years in the business. Personally, I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. Have you seen it yet? Let me know down in the comments below. I'll be making a full spoiler-filled review, so be on the lookout. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. It helps me out a ton, and it costs you nothing. For those of you that have already subscribed, thanks a bunch. You're amazing, and I'll see you in the next video.